This is Liliana McCovey, and I'm going to be interviewing my mother. So, what was your earliest memory?
My earliest memory is going to be when I was 3 or 4 years old, and I was with my family, and we were on our way to my grandparents' house. Like, I was going to go see my grandma, and my parents were driving a motorcycle, and me and my brothers were in a sidecar. Me and my 2 older brothers were riding in the sidecar until this was about around the winter time, and so it was really cold. It was about negative 30 degrees Celsius. It was freezing outside. And back where I lived in Belarus, it was super snowy at this time. So we got to a point in the road where it was all covered in snow. So we all had to get out of the motorcycle and sidecar, our vehicular situation. And we had to walk the rest of the way to my grandma's house. And so me being 3 or 4 years old, I was able to walk, but not as well as my brothers. And so my father took me into his arms and put me on his shoulders so that I wasn't soaking wet in the snow, because my brothers, walking in the snow, it was about to their waist, so it was super hard to crawl through that. And so the entire way they were complaining and like asking why I was the one being carried and not them. And so they were just crying the whole way. And then we got to my grandma's house, and the one thing I remember, I just remember my parents sat me down next to the fireplace, and all I heard that whole night was my grandma was just yelling at my parents the entire time. Like, usually a visit to a grandparent's house is like a super joyous, like, happy time. Like, you come and visit your grandma and you're like, yay, grandma, presents, food, warmth, you know. And we just come, and my grandma's yelling the entire time. And now that I'm older, I asked my grandma why she was yelling that whole time. Or my mom, excuse me. And she said that my grandma was just concerned the entire time about my well-being, and she was just super frustrated with my parents that they took me through the snow, through such a cold atmosphere, I guess, when I was so young that I could have frozen to death in that weather, and that, I don't know, I could have gotten hypothermia. She was super worried about me, and I just remember that kind of memory of my grandma when I was at that age. I think that's the earliest memory I have.
Thank you.